make stuff, we can read, coffee. This is great. I like it.
You wonder why I carry a tape recorder?
It's to tape things. See, I'm an idea man, Chuck. All right? I got ideas all day long. I can't control them. It's like they come charging in. I can't even fight them if I want to, you know? So I save it here. That way I never forget. See what I'm saying? Okay, here's an example.
Alright, I said I was going to give you guys a rundown of the last two batches of Pipe Dream, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. I had to do some digging around and reference old notes to figure out exactly what went into that barrel. And it's a kind of a common theme with everything with this distillery is because of our size. It gives us a lot of flexibility to experiment and play around, which is great. My goal is always to give you a consistent product. It kind of falls in the same kind of parameters flavor-wise, but I'm always tinkering with stuff, trying to see what creates the best tasting spirits. And sometimes I get a little lost in the mix on what exactly I did. Have to go digging through old notebooks and stuff to figure out what it was exactly. But in my opinion, that's what craft should be about. Like, we already know what bourbon tastes like at 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a barrel. This stuff's already been done. We're starting to see more of that. It's starting to become the norm. More people, I think everyone in town now has different barrel finishes. Not even counting people around the country experimenting with different wood. And it's an exciting time to be into spirits, especially craft spirits, with people finally having time to break out of the mold. And that's something we've always set out to do. But early batches, if you've been coming here and know of us for a long time, I started off with a Solera system, and we'd age in our small 23-gallon barrels to get that initial surge of color and flavor, then eventually rack over into a 53-gallon barrel, but always save some of the last batch. So it's constant blending to kind of keep things consistent and also put out a younger spirit that tastes good. It's a pain. It's a lot of extra paperwork, and so we finally started moving away from that, but we are still playing around. And so this batch, I've been telling people they were 6 months apart. Turns out they're closer to a year apart, and they are by far our oldest spirits we've ever released. And they were weird. These ones were very weird. We started with, I'm looking at a picture of the barrel right now before I refilled it. I had taken some, it looks like 10-month-old Pipe Dream from a new barrel, racked that into one of my ex-smoke barrels from Dear Johnny whiskey that I emptied that. And so I put the 10-month-old Pipe Dream into that to try and finish it, just to see if I could pick up some of that smokiness and see what that would taste like. That was 18.69 gallons at 115 proof. And then in another barrel, I had 19.5 gallons of rum from Tails. You guys know Echo, they do their Queen Share, where you take the tails and redistill that, and it gives you a different kind of rum profile. So we did something similar. That I put into a third fill ex-whiskey barrel. What the second fill was, it's lost to time. I'm going to assume it was whiskey, possibly rum. But third fill was rum from Tails at 118 proof. And that was also, I believe, around 10 months. Then in June 19th of 2018, I pulled those two barrels out, blended them together, gave us 38.3 gallons at 117.3 proof, and put those into an ex-brandy barrel. I remember my thinking at the time was the smoke was kind of overpowering and clashing with the flavor of the rum, and I was worried I'd ruined a lot of rum. And so it's kind of a last-ditch effort to salvage that. I put it into the ex-brandy barrels. Not many of you got to try it, but I know a bunch of you did and really liked it. Again, with Echo, we had both done brandy experiments early on, and they were just one-offs. And so this was one of my barrels from that. And with the brandy, too, I remember it was like the first 2 years, it was not good because it came from wine that wasn't great. We were just trying to kind of clean out the still, make sure the still works. It was when we first got it. Ran some wine that, you know, it was drinkable, but wasn't very tasty. And the brandy itself was, again, drinkable, but not great. And so that's why it just got tucked away, forgotten, and that became part of the Forgotten Brandy series we did with Echo. I guess it's not a series, it was one-off. But the Forgotten Brandies that we did with Echo. Yeah, that being empty, I filled those 2 previous batches of rum into the ex-brandy barrel and then left it for a while until October of last year. I pulled out half of it. And this is again coming from the Solera, where I'm only removing partial barrels at times. This is where I didn't need a full barrel of rum, so I wanted to let as much as I could age, but I needed part of it. So I pulled out 20 gallons, batched that out. That was batch 11 of Pipe Dream. And so it had not quite a year new oak, and then 4 years? Like 4 years in the ex-brandy barrel. I recently brought my barrels back. They were stored off-site at another distillery. It's time to do a little bit more Pipe Dream and kind of condense some stuff. And so I pulled out the remaining, what remained of that barrel, another like 18 gallons or so. And so that was almost a full other year. So batch 12, it's the same rum, same components, but about a year difference in the barrel. And it's a partially empty barrel, so there's a lot of oxygen in there. I wasn't sure what would happen evaporation-wise. It seems like we mostly lost water because the proof climbed up. I don't remember what it was at, but it went in at 117. I think it was closer to like 125 when I pulled it out. So that's batch 12. There's only 1 bottle of each left in the shop, but those batches are still out in the wild. Most of batch 12 went to the warehouse, so you're going to see that in stores, and I'm sure batch 11 is still around some places. But we're looking at getting some of the old batches of different spirits back into the shop from places where they're kind of not moving, like kind of out of the way places. So look for that coming up soon as well. But yeah, really fun batches, really fun tasting them side by side. Some similarities, but a lot of differences. 12, it's a little more like integrated. That's the word I'm looking for. But also developed this really interesting, like kind of cola syrup note. Like not the bubbly carbonatedness, but like this kind of a condensed cola syrup flavor. But not cloying. Like it's not sweet like syrup. It just has that kind of note to it. But you gotta try them for yourself. Find out if you like them. But yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys about that barrel. It was one of the most interesting ones we've ever released. It'll not happen again because I don't have more brandy. I don't have any of those components still except the base rum. But I've always been pro transparency with distilleries. I think that's important. Like I think you should tell people what you're doing with your spirits. If you're sourcing it, you should like let them know that you're sourcing it. Even if you don't tell them where you got it from, at least let them know that you did not in fact distill that. Because like I said in the last video, like there is an art to blending, and blending is really what creates the spirits you're drinking. possibly more so than the actual distillation of it. But yeah, so I'm pro transparency, but that doesn't mean I'm good at it. I eventually, if I go on a hunt and dig around in my old notes, I can kind of figure out what I had done with some of the weirder ones. The next batch is very straightforward. It is all new oak from the start, and it's going to be 5 years old. Or it is 5 years old now. I'm going to be bottling some this week. Had a little taste of it when I picked up the barrels. It's really good. So that's awesome. Again, one of the oldest things we've done. If you like it, stock up because there is going to be a shortage coming. Those of you that have been following know this place was kind of up in the air for a while. My partners had jumped ship during the pandemic. I've been trying to regroup, brought on another partner back in spring. But because of that, and money was tight, we were not laying down new barrels for a long time. And so this next batch of Pipe Dream, or this next barrel of Pipe Dream, I'm not going to do the whole barrel all in one go. But this is the last barrel we have right now. I'm looking at laying down more in the very near future. But to get it tasting anything like what we've put out in the past, it's going to be minimum of a year. I would like to shoot for 2 years. So, depends how long this barrel lasts. But we've got other cool stuff in the works. Looking at some other rums to put out in the meantime. Thinking about those. Our new whiskey, we're technically allowed to sell it now. It is listed with the state, but you can't buy it because I've not even pieced it together yet. The official release is going to be at the Whiskey Festival coming up at Henneck Farms. I don't know if tickets are still available, but you can go to the website, check that out, and then it will be available in the shop after that. I know the ratios. I just got to actually pull all the components together and blend to get it proofed down and bottled. And then October 11th at Global Gallery, our new coffee liqueur. We partner with Global Gallery and Ramble Coffee that they roast on site. Working on getting that batched out as well. But October 11th, we're going to have some cocktails, live music there. So come hang out. The shop will be closed, obviously, because I can't be in two places at once, even though some people seem to think I can be. But yeah, that I think is all I've got for now. So get your hands on these new batches. You get to try some really cool stuff that you'll not really get to try again. But we're always going to be changing, always playing around, experimenting. That is at the core of why I started this up and what we will continue to do as time goes on. So, until next time, ciao.